Welcome to InDesign Quick Start Videos and some tips. My name is David Atkinson, graphic lecturer. We're on to video 4, text and images. Now we know the basics. Now it's about building up your layout. On this occasion, what I'm going to start is where we left off. If you look, it's about file management. And you'll see I've created these files now, nice and simple. And we look into documents, previous jobs, classroom design tutorials. I double click there. The reason for doing this at this stage is your images always need to be linked to your InDesign files. I'll just do a better view so we can actually, so you can see that a little bit better. Go to the large icons and you see images and files. If I double click on images, you see there's a few that I've prepared there. And if we go back to the top, we'll go to the InDesign files. Again, if I click on the view, you can see the large icons. There's the previous tutorials that we've done. And the logo, but basically, primarily, we're looking at the InDesign files that we're looking at. Now, again, we could double click on those and see where we're at, or you can start a new document, which will be, as the program's open, in your docking station at the bottom. So I'll click onto grids and layout. So you should have this file from previously where we started. We started to lay a little bit of text, generic text in there, but now we want this image or this layout to start to look a little bit like a nice spread and layout. Now, where do we get the images from? Now, I'm going to show you a little bit in Google how to get good, nice images. We don't have to worry about copyright because we're not using them for commercial purposes. But this is where I would actually go to get images. So if you go to Google, you can click on there. I've already got the page open. And we click onto Google there, and then we just now the type of images we're going to look at. We're going to look at Glasgow Clyde. So we'll just put Glasgow Clyde. Search for Glasgow Clyde College. And these images come up. Now, it's important in Google when you're looking at the images, look at the items going across the top. Now, you can actually go for images and text, but we're basically be trying to build up a portfolio of images that are the right size. So if I click on images there, I'm actually going to put Glasgow Clyde College in there. See how it actually changes what we were actually searching for. Now, it's important that the correct resolution and the images that we want to use. So an interesting tip is if you go to Tools, just go Size and go Large. I like to go large. And you can see the images. Now, these images are the type of things that we can use. Now, I'm going to look at a couple of the buildings and a couple of people in the college. So if I just click on college is more than just an education. If I click on that once, it's important that we look at this image. We can see, I can see it's a genuinely good image, but we're looking at it at what we call 72 dots per inch DPI. But I'm looking at these figures here, and if it's in the thousands, we're generally speaking okay, and that's 2,400 and 1,600. So if you right click there and then save image as, make sure you call it a name, like college building. College building. And then we'll save it as a JPEG. And then it's important we put it in the correct place. InDesign always needs to be able to find the images. So if we go back to documents, you see these files that I had there, College InDesign tutorials, I double click there, images, and I double click there. You see, I've already got a few images to start with, which I quite like, and were quite large. And this image I've got, so although it says college building, I'm going to put college building 2, because I've already got 1. Just go OK to that, and then we'll save. And that's how you find large images that you're looking for. Remember, I'll just recap on that. You just go back. Remember, always go to images and large. And then generally, you'll be pretty much okay with the resolution and the size, which we'll touch on resolution later on in the year. So we go back to our layout. And basically, we're looking here, and all we've got is generic text. And if I just use the magnifying glass and click and drag, you'll see it's just all Latin ipsum morum text. And I'll just go back to view, and we'll go back to fit view to page. Use the hand tool to move across. And so we've got text and a few blank boxes. And what I'm going to do, again, is go to the select tool. I'm going to find those images to drop in here. I'll use this box, click once. See, I've selected it. Once I've got selected it, it means the image that I go to place will drop inside that box. File, place. And again, we'll go back to documents. We're in documents, move across. Tutorials, double click. Images, double click. And we can see those images. I want the building. Click on the building and open. You see that's quite sort of pixelated. I've only got part of the image. InDesign places images into boxes, and it's so we can crop without going back to and fro from Photoshop and losing part of the image. And to show you that, I'm just going to go to the direct selection tool. At the moment, I've got the box selected. And I go to direct selection tool. See, it moves the images inside. Go back to the selection tool. See, I'm moving the image inside. If I just click and drag, because I'm in the select tool, that's the size of the image, which is inside the box. If I want to move the image inside the box, I go to the direct selection tool. I can do it. Can you see this line's coming across the bottom? That's the size of the image. If I let go there, the box is black, and the image is inside that box. It's important to see that. I need to resize the image and make it the correct size that we want it. There's a few ways you can do that. The easiest and quickest way, we'll put this box, I've gone back to the selection tool to the size that we want it. You see the image is in there. Now if I just click, we use these icons, because I've got it selected, you can see these icons here. And what that's going to do, if I click on this box here, just test it, it fits the image exact to the size that I want. One thing that does is the proportion, it changes the proportion. So it might squash your image, which is not what we want. So we want the image at 100%. Now looking at these figures up here, it says 100% by 100%, and you'd think, well, that's telling me it's 100%. It's actually telling you the shape of the box, the 100% of the box. So what you need to go is go to the direct select tool and click on the image. See, we've selected the image. that's the percentages that we've got. It's 17% by 15.5%, which we need to keep these figures the same so we don't squash the image. And so what I'm just going to do is change that to 18%. And if that's selected, it'll constrain the proportion that should go. If I click that, I'll change that to 18%, it should keep them the same. And that image is not selected. When viewing the image, you look at it as well, and it looks a bit pixelated. That's because we're in a preview. If you go to the top, view, overview, print, it makes it look nice and crisp. And then if we just click that, and that's your image. And I'm just going to go again to the magnifying glass. Well, I'll just go object view to the top and just change it to page view. And then use the hand tool to move it across. We've got no guides, and that's how you place an image. Now, just to recap, if I go to the direct select tool, I'm going to select the image. You can see the image, that's how much I'm losing of the image. And if I move that, the box stays in the same place. I can actually move it all the way over there and you think there's nothing there. But it is actually still in that box. But it's like looking through a window, you can't see it. If I clicked on this tool here, if you lose an image and you think it's there, it places it straight back in the middle. The reason for that, it allows you to crop the image without going to and fro from Photoshop and then losing parts of the image that you might need at a later date if you change your mind. So if I change the size of that box, I can make it narrower and it doesn't change the size of the image. So that's how you place an image on a page. We can move that across. The good thing to mention here is you always need to check your links. If at any stage you move your InDesign document and your images from your image folder, you will lose your link. You see link image, it's telling me I've got this college building there, and that's okay. Right, that's fine, and it's in there. If I go back to documents, and I'll show you if I move it, any stage, if I go to images, I'm just going to change this view slightly because I want to move it. I'm going to go to detail, see images. Just again looking at the list view. So if I go to images, and that's the image that we placed, I'm just going to take that out of the folder and drop it into documents so I don't lose it. It's gone from that folder. Now watch when I go back to my InDesign spread. On links, I've got a white question mark and a red circle. That is telling me that I've lost the link to the image. And although it looks okay on InDesign and you're looking at it on there because it was placed in there, when you come to print, you'll get a warning that it won't print very well and you've lost the image. You need to keep that link. So that's why it's important, file management, to link things together. And we also get an error down at the bottom and it will tell you what that error is if we click on that page. We click on there and it tells you you've lost a link and it tells you you're missing a link, and it's that. So it's important to move things together and keep them. You could probably keep the InDesign and the image in the same folder. Don't move them after you've placed them. Also, I'll just take that back and I'll just take it and show you that image that I moved. Onto documents, there's the image, and we'll drop it back into that image folder. See that image? I'm just going to drop it back into there. And we'll go back to the InDesign document, and we see that's disappeared. And that's how you keep images linked. You've got to keep them linked. Also, something else to show you, if you think, start your file management after you've started your layout, you think I want to change the names of my images, it will also lose the link. So you shouldn't change the name. So say that college building. If I wanted to change the name of that, just go to list. So if that college building, if I just put a 1 there, and I'll take you back, and you can see it's also lost the link. So don't change names of images after you've placed it in InDesign. I'll change it back, take that away. You can see we've got the link back. If you lose that link, you've got a problem. And the reason for that is InDesign doesn't then take the memory of large images. So it doesn't make your InDesign file unmanageable, and it makes it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it just uses the links, so it works quicker and it works with the speed. And that's exactly the same about the view, about an overprint view when it goes pixelated. The reason for that is it means you work quicker and you're refreshing your screen a lot quicker. Now to go to get text, there's a few ways we can text, but it's to drop text into your layout. But the best way is it's just really copy and pasting what you've got. Now we set this up for a size. Now if you set your size up, if you copy and paste into that same box, it means it will come in at the same values. Like I think if we go to the type tool, so it's not telling me anything about that type at the moment, apart from the position on the page. When I click on the type tool, it will tell me the font, Mini and Pro, regular, 9 point on 12 point, and there's lots of different elements that I can do with the 100%, range left and right, all these, which we'll touch on at a later date. That's all the values of that type box. Now, to change that, you need to select it all. I'm selecting the whole of that. Now, I don't want the Latin text, and I've got that. I'll put my guides back on so I can see it, and that's flashing away there. And exactly the same as image, well, slightly similar to the images. What we do, if we go back to Google, and again, we're okay for copyright because we're not using these for commercial purposes. Instead of images, we'll just click all. And what we'll do, we'll go to the Glasgow Clyde College website. And we'll find an interesting article. Why choose Glasgow Clyde? Additional support for learning courses. A return to study courses. I'm just looking for some text that is relevant to the images that we've got. I did find an image earlier. Right. So, looking for text, it doesn't really matter for our purposes what type of text that we drop in there. Advice, student funding. We'll go to funding and advice. You see all the text that's got there. We just select it, click and drag. This is right click on this mouse, copy. And then we'll go back to our InDesign page. Click and drag, and I'm just going to make this slightly larger, so you can see how it's placed. Back to your select tool, or your type tool, sorry. Put your icon there, right click and go paste. Or you go to the top, edit and paste. But we'll just right click and paste, and all that text drops in there. Back to view, and we'll just go to view, and we'll go to page fit window. You can see we've got a bit of text. And that's how you placed text in an image. Thank you for listening. In the next video, we'll follow style sheets. Now you apply different styles to your text.